And new at 6, a South Fulton police officer says there's a cover-up hiding the police department's toxic work environment. The officer says an internal affairs investigation recommended termination for the lieutenant responsible, but the chief decided not to fire that co-worker. Channel 2's Taisha Fernandez is live outside South Fulton City Hall, and Ty, the chief insists he made the best decision.
Linda, I wanted to sit down with Police Chief Keith Meadows, but was offered a spokesperson instead. And she said the chief stands by how he handled this situation, even though he didn't follow any of the recommendations by Internal Affairs.
If a major investigates and says terminate, you would think a major at that rank, you would, if you're the chief, hey, termination.
This whole investigation started nearly 2 years ago when Detective Pserdia Dickerson says a female lieutenant threatened and belittled him in front of several other officers. He says Lieutenant Unica Norris called him names we can't air on television and placed her gun on a desk while saying, quote, "Hold my gun, Jack. I don't want to have to shoot nobody." Dickerson filed a grievance against Lieutenant Norris, who was his supervisor at the time. A different lieutenant led the investigation. The investigative findings recommended no disciplinary action for Lieutenant Norris. Internal Affairs disagreed and started a new investigation. We obtained the Internal Affairs complaint investigation findings. It concluded that the working environment relative to the zero tolerance harassment and bullying in the workplace policy was ineffective to the extent that there was a permissive environment for bullying and harassment within the workplace. Internal Affairs recommended termination for Lieutenant Norris and termination or at least demotion for at least 3 other supervisors accused of violating policy by not reporting what they heard Lieutenant Norris say and do. Chief Keith Meadows didn't follow any of IA's recommendations. Instead, he suspended Lieutenant Norris for 3 days, and 3 other officers and command staff got written reprimand. Tori Cooper is a spokesperson for the police department.
The department stands by the decision that we made in terms of disciplinary action. We considered all factors, all evidence, all witnesses that were there. And after interviewing all of those people, the chief ultimately made the decision that he felt was the most appropriate.
Dickerson's attorney says things got worse when Lieutenant Norris came back from suspension. He says Chief Keith Meadows placed Dickerson right back under Lieutenant Norris's command. Attorney Williams says this is a classic case of cover-up instead of weeding out bad officers.
So basically, he blows the whistle, right? He says she acted inappropriately, violated numerous rules, regulations, policies to my detriment, threatened my life, in my opinion. That's what he's saying. And then from that point on, I'm just retaliated against consistently over time to the point that now I'm back up underneath her. And it's like, okay, what are you going to do about it, Pserdia? You going to stay or you going to leave?
The major who did the internal affairs investigation is no longer in that position. The chief says it has nothing to do with this case. The spokesperson for the department says Dickerson has nothing to worry about when he returns to work. We're live outside South Fulton City Hall in South Fulton County. Taisha Fernandez, Channel 2 Action News.